And again, my name's Caitlin. I'm an addict.
Hey, Caitlin.
Hopefully you guys are in this room because you are hoping to hear the workshop, The Spirit of Service. We have two wonderful speakers for you guys this morning. We have Regina and we have Simone. We're going to start off with Regina.
Thank you, Caitlin. Hey, family, I'm Regina. I'm an addict.
Hey, Regina.
First and foremost, I want to give honor to the God of my understanding for allowing me another day clean. Y'all, this is a good day to be clean.
That's right.
And if you're sitting next to somebody, I'm going to ask that you turn and hug that person next to you. If you're not, get up and just hug somebody in the next row. Our topic for this workshop is Spirit of Service. You just perform service. That's the awesome part about Narcotics Anonymous. It don't matter whether or not you're serving in a committee, but just being able to give somebody a hug, and thank you, hugger, for being here and the service that you're giving. You know, our literature says, and I love our new literature, there's a line in there that states, service is not being a member of a committee, and I'm paraphrasing because I'm not good at remembering it, but it's a condition of the heart. It's not a position of that's what it says, it's not a position being on a committee, but it's a condition of the heart. See, service don't come from being on service and working on a committee. It's got to come from within, because that's where the Spirit lives, in my heart. And my biggest thing that I love about Narcotics Anonymous is that this program saved my life. If it did such a great job of saving my life, why is it that I'm not giving back to what was so freely given to me? Mm-hmm. See, those are some of the questions that I have to ask myself. And I haven't had to ask myself that in over 20 years because I've served since I've been here 6 months clean. Mm-hmm. But my sponsor shared with me, too much is given, to whom much is given, much is required. And I'm so grateful that this program works and that I'm glad that you all saved my life. I need to show it by doing something. And it's not just showing up at a meeting and leaving. You know, the chairs had to be set up, the coffee had to be made. My story was, I came in and I was looking for a sponsor. I have a young lady that's sitting out in the audience right now that took me under her wing, and she kept nudging me. And I had about 30 days clean. And I didn't know what to do or how to do it. But I knew one thing, I did not want to use, and I didn't want to be in pain anymore. And she said, come on, hang with us. And she took me with her, and then we saw this young lady, they kept saying, you need to get a sponsor. You know what I'm saying? That's what I love about this. They told me exactly what I needed to do when I got here. So you need to get a sponsor. You need to start doing service. Service gets you out of yourself. That's when I first got here. That's what I heard. So I came in here and I took the suggestions and I got a sponsor. And the young lady that I asked to sponsor me, she's here today too. Thank God for sponsorship, because that's the heartbeat of this program. And when I came in and she agreed to sponsor me, I did not know that we was in a service-oriented family. And I didn't know what that meant, but I heard them say it. Well, it wasn't long before I found out what that meant. My first 60 days, I think I had 60 days, and we had a convention, and she said, I need you to meet me up here at this convention. And I'm dressed up now, y'all. That's what I did. I'm dressed up, had on a suede suit, had on heels and stuff, and I got there, they had on sneakers and jeans, and they was working, and they told me, no, you came to work. I kicked the shoes off, y'all, and I started working. See, what I realized today is that I'm grateful for the guidance that was given to me coming in the program. I'm grateful that I know what service is today. Service is not just being able to be on a committee. And mind you, I've served on every committee just about there is to serve on, all the way to the region. But it's not about the resume, because my resume is this long, but my heart is this big. And see, if your heart is not this big, it don't matter how long your resume is. Because if you're not willing to give back to what was so freely given to you, none of this is really getting ready to work. What I realized too is that it was a lot of people that was coming in, and they came in the way that I came in. I was brought in. My sponsor went to me the area. She went to my home group. When she was a member of my home group, I did commitments in my home group, every position. Then you leave there, and I went to area. She sat with me through area and showed me how to do service through area. Then she took me from the area, and then we wound up going to the region. And then we were doing the car. See, I'm saying it was different steps that was shown, I was shown how to do. And I remember when she even said, come on, I want you to go with me, and we're going to do some service. I'm like, I got 60 days clean. What kind of service am I getting ready to do with you down in Griffin? And she was on H&I, and she took me down to H&I. And she told me to tell my story. And I'm afraid, because I've never done it before, and I didn't know what to say or how to say it. And then all of a sudden, boy, when I opened up my mouth, things started coming out. It came out so much that she had to cut me off. You know what I'm saying? It's just so amazing what you think you can't do, but you really have the power to do if you ask the God of your understanding for it, you know? So when I did that, and I saw, oh, I can do this. Because I didn't come in the room sharing. I came in the room quiet. Now, I'll talk you to death outside the room. But in the room, there wasn't nothing I was going to say. Because I didn't know what I was talking about. I just knew this right here was in the way. What I realized, too, is that as I started doing service, I got attracted to the newcomer because that's where I came from. I came from being a newcomer. You know what I'm saying? And I was a newcomer when I came in, and I'm like, and I'm hugging everybody because I was so grateful. And, you know, I was so, and grateful is an action word. You got to do something with that gratitude. You got to do something with it. And I came in hugging people, and I got the name from Policy I'll never forget. She started calling me Hugging Pooh. And, yeah, the hugs you might have thought was for you, they wasn't for you, they was for me. And a lot of times we be thinking we doing service to help somebody else, and it's really the service to help me. So see, this thing here is more than just being on a committee and showing up and having a title. Because you know what? The titles can be taken away just like you got them. But when you're doing anything from the spirit, when it comes from the gut and in my heart, can't nobody take that away. You know, so I love Narcotics Anonymous. You know why I love it? Because it saved my life. And the only way that I can be able to give it back is that I keep doing what I keep doing. I keep showing up at meetings. I keep hugging the newcomer. I keep giving them a call. I keep trying to serve. See, in my area now, we're struggling. Very, very hard. And I don't think it's just my area. Because I've been going to other areas, because that's what I do. I attend meetings all over. And when I go and I see there's not a lot of people in the room, nobody doing service, you don't have nobody at the area, because I still show up at area. I don't have to, because we have a GSR. But you know what? As long as I can, I will. I show up there and I see what's going on. And what's going on is that, you know, there's a lot of GSRs that's been thrust in these positions that don't know what they're doing. Just because nobody has shown them or walked them through the way it was given to us. Somewhere along the way, we have lost the direction on how it was given to us and what our literature said. Our literature said we can only keep what we have by giving it away. You know what I'm saying? But I realize today that I can't make nobody do nothing, but I can share my experience, strength, and hoping that you will hear something that's going to make you feel good about going back to do some service for NA. But I do realize, too, that it's not important on what you do. It's just how you do it and that you're willing to do it. It takes the willingness to be able to be of service. I came in here serving Narcotics Anonymous, and I've left here serving the God Almighty standing. I love you guys. Thanks for letting me share.
Thanks for sharing. Okay. And now we're going to have Simone speak as well.
Hi, family. I'm a grateful recovering addict, Simone.
Hey, Simone.
Thank you for sharing. I'd like to thank the Ride in the River of Change, GRCNA 36, for asking me to share my strength, hope, and experience on this topic and for this convention. Wow, my stomach just started flipping now. It's fine. But the spirit of service, thank you, Regina, as well. Mine is a little different. What I come to realize about the spirit of service was that I had a sponsor, too, that got me in the service. H&I is how I came in. serving, and it was a lot of fun in the beginning, going in and learning how to go into facilities and share my strength, hope, and experience. And as time grew, somewhere the disease overcame. I got in touch with I still like to be in control and like to run stuff, and the disease took over. And when I relocated to Georgia from New Jersey, it was different for me. And arrogance took over. And when I got to the Eastern area, it was different. And so they didn't play the way I wanted to play, and I took my ball and I bounced around, and I was like, the hell with serving, because it wasn't the same way for me. And so I left. I went back to another fellowship, and I stayed abstinent. I didn't use, through the grace of God. And I just stayed clean, but I was miserable as hell. And I came back to Narcotics Anonymous maybe about 5 or 6 years ago, and I would just do drive-bys in NA, and I stayed in another fellowship, and I was miserable. I was clean, crazy as hell. Through the grace of God, I didn't use. I had a hell of a foundation. That's why I didn't use. But I definitely missed my home. And through that process, when I ended up back into Narcotics Anonymous, went to Fun in the Sun. I always went to Fun in the Sun. I took it as a vacation. I would go there with my kids, and I met back with my sponsor, who still sponsors me today, and I was like, man, I'm crazy as hell, and I really needed to get back into some step work. And through that process, today I'm back in service work. I am a co-facilitator at the Eastern area. And when I got back here from New Jersey in '99, when I moved here, I saw a lot of prejudices, and they were in me. I got clean in an area that was Black and Hispanic, and the preambles were read all the time, and we don't care about how much you use and who you use with, but I didn't realize I was prejudiced. And when someone told me in the Eastern area, hey, maybe you should go to Highland Club, I thought they were saying because it was Black, not because I was judging. And, it was my stuff. I had transplanted here from one area and was looking at all the differences, not sharing about transplanting from New Jersey, and the meetings were different, but people were clean. I couldn't see all of that then, but I see it now. I knew that Narcotics Anonymous had saved my life, but I was angry. I had lost my sponsor, I had lost my sponsees. I had robbed Narcotics Anonymous. They sent me to the area with $800. They pissed me off in the meeting, and I went and spent it on Thanksgiving food, but I paid it back. Right here in Atlanta area. And it took me 9 months, but I knew that this program had saved my life. Everything was different, but I wasn't talking about it. And I had a lot of knowledge, book knowledge. I had a lot of it. It was in my head, but it wasn't in my heart. And today it's in my heart, because today it's in the application of this program. Today I don't see it black and white anymore. Today it's in my heart. Today I'm back in H&I. Today I go into Gwinnett Jail because I know what this program has done for me. I remember being in the rehab and people coming in with H&I and sharing the message about hope and the problem, the thing of freedom. Today, I don't get it misconstrued. Today, I don't judge. It talks about being a steward of trust. I didn't have it with all the steps and all the knowledge in here because it wasn't in my heart. I had all the good intentions, but the disease robbed me because of my arrogance, because of my self-centeredness. I wasn't doing the application. And today, when I went back to the Eastern area, they still welcomed me in spite of my indifference and my intolerance, my attitude, my arrogance. The third tradition. I love the second tradition because in this new book, it talks a lot about listening. Listening. That's in the second step. It talks about one of the spiritual principles that a lot of times I don't hear, learning to listen. I had to learn to listen a lot to my sponsor instead of wanting to be heard. I always wanted to be heard. I was so angry. And a lot of people I would share, and people say, wow, you really need to read your third step. And I'd be like, I know God. But I wouldn't allow God to be God because I always wanted to be in control. And that's why I couldn't be a trusted servant, because that's not allowing God to be God. Because I always wanted to be served than to serve. Today, being a trusted servant is learning to listen as a co-facilitator, is not doing the mediation, it is allowing people to be the GSRs and listening. And just going, okay, that's a good point of view, versus telling my point of view. It's not a dictatorship. And not having all the answers. I amaze myself because I know a lot of information, but it's not for me to give it. And I'm so grateful that today I am so teachable, and I humbled myself today because I'm so tired of being humiliated in the process with time. And I practice these principles in my marriage. Today I have the relationship with my husband. Today I have this relationship with my children. Today I'm invited in the game to play versus sitting in the bleachers, because I've sat in the bleachers in recovery. Being broken in recovery is just like using. The disease can destroy myself in recovery. Doing all the step work, making meetings and sponsorship doesn't line up in recovery. And then, hey, it needs to all add up. So today I do the service work because I like my life being full and being in the joy of the journey. So today my life is full with service work, and I can do it in the spirit of God's will. And now I'm not overtired and angry and discontent because I'm in the will of God. So that's a servant. And I'm enjoying the journey. And now I'm in H&I, and I go into the jails, and I'm joyous. And my children are joyous to have me in the company of. And for 7 years of my recovery process, I had like one sponsee in my life. And I'm grateful for that one sponsee, but I wasn't attractive. I was in the darkness. Today I have several sponsees, and today I can listen to my sponsor. Like last night I said, sponsor, I got to share. I read some of this stuff here. And she was like, well, okay, did you look at tradition 3? And I was kind of like getting ready to overtalk her, and I had to humble myself again. And she was like, okay. At first she was like, oh, when she goes, okay, baby, I'm getting ready to see. I'm like trying to take over. And it's kind of funny. I was like, humble myself, you know. And then I was like, oh, okay. And I was like, oh, okay. You know, and real quick, like I have a sponsee sometimes, like, I'm so grateful I can hear from God. I have a sponsee, and sometimes when she called, I'll be like, yeah, like, come on, get to the exact nature. And God was like, hey, what you doing? You're kind of talking to this sponsee like a little arrogant here. Like her stuff ain't valuable to me, you know? And so I had a sponsorship meeting with my sponsees, and she didn't even know. And so I was like, I said, hey, I owe you an apology. When you called me, I kind of talked to her like, hurry up, let's get to the exact nature, like, woo, 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 like. And she was like, oh, you noticed? And I was like, yeah, I did notice. And she was like, I was praying and asking God, like, I needed to pray for you. Like how you answer my call. And so we all like were laughing, but I was so grateful that I heard from God, like who the hell am I to like treat somebody like that? Because being a sponsor is service, like you said, like the hug and stuff. Who am I to even treat somebody like that? Like my sponsor would never treat me that way. And you know, you say your sponsor, people like call me, and then when somebody call, even though like she'll say, hey, I had a drug dream, or I watched something on Weed Channel. Do you think that was wrong? And here my arrogance, like, you know, I'm like, you know, like. That was silly, but I mean, this woman is entrusting to be honest with me, and I'm taking it like a minimum of concern, but that's arrogance. And I mean, like, I was so grateful that I heard from my higher power to stop that behavior. And I'm so grateful I was able to be vulnerable in front of my sponsorship family to even bring that on the floor. And you know what, she was like, thank you so much, because she said it was offending me. But that's being a servant, that's being a stewardship, and that's how this program works, you know. So I am grateful that where I am just for today, and I'm seeing the fruit manifest in my life. You know, like I said, I have 4 daughters, and being a servant, my children call me today. And I have the joke in my house is my kids today asked me to be their sponsor. That never happened. They'd be like, Mom, could I be one of your sponsees? You know, and of course, that they grown women. That feels pretty good sometimes. And I'm just grateful to be in this program in Narcotics Anonymous. I'm grateful to go into the jails of Gwinnett. I'm grateful to have a job today. I'm grateful that I am a steward in my community today. I'm grateful to just be in this program to be clean today. And I'm so grateful that GRCNA 36 thought it'd be good for me to come and speak on the spirit of service. Thanks for letting me share.
Let's have a hand for both our speakers.